guys, welcome to Girl on Girl Gaming. I'm Jess, and I am here with Courtney and Kal-El. And we're going to talk about Fallout 4. Woo! Woo!
Woo.
Hey guys, welcome to a very, very special week of Girl on Girl Gaming. I'm Jess, and this weekend I had the amazing opportunity to sit down and talk to Courtenay Taylor and Kal-El Bogdanove from Fallout 4. It was such an incredible day. We sat and we talked for like 2 hours, and it was an amazing interview, and I got to like delve really deep into talking about the little nuances of Fallout 4 through Courtenay Taylor's voice performance and Kal-El's voice direction, and it was just so amazing, and I'm so excited to share this with you guys this week. And it was such a great 2 hours that I didn't want to cut it up and just jump cut and make it a typical vlog. So I wanted to share the magic with you guys. So this week we are doing an entire week of videos. So each video is going to be about 10 minutes long. So if you have the patience, it's really worth watching, and I'm so excited about this.
I'm Courtenay Taylor, and I am the female protagonist voice.
I'm Kal-El Bogdanove, and I was the lead voice and performance capture director for the game.
I'm going to start with Courtney. You also worked on Fallout New Vegas back in the day.
How bad did you kill me?
Probably pretty
Everybody
bad.
killed
Yeah,
me.
I'm going to say pretty bad. Anyway, so how was this Fallout game? How was working on it different than Fallout New Vegas?
Well, there was a lot more sessions for this one.
Right.
And I think I came in maybe for like a couple sessions on Fallout New Vegas. So it was completely polar opposite. I came into that, there was, sort of a pre-established character, Gloria Van Graff, Jazz Wilkins. I sort of fit the voice to that thing, and then I think to those characters that they asked me to. And then this was much more like collaborative, coming in from the ground floor of the voiceover process, and getting to work with the guys from Bethesda to just collaborate on a character from the ground up.
Oh, that's great. So did you actually get to, voice your ideas and help develop the character?
Well, I came in with ideas,
right.
and I sort of had more of a heroic take on the character, and so I think we sort of shifted that pretty early on to an every woman.
Because of the way the structure of the interface works, and because the Fallout, in a larger sense, is really about role-playing, Courtenay had the very difficult task that I think she achieved quite well, of having a performance that was universal enough for everybody to project themselves onto it, and yet still specifically about something and full of like authenticity and emotion and naturalism, and you did a very good job with that, I think.
Well, that actually leads into another question I had, was how did you find the balance between, because Fallout is so much based on role play, how did you find the balance between like pushing too much of a character onto the player versus allowing the player to develop their own experience?
A lot of what we did was really just kind of extend the approach that Bethesda and Obsidian have taken in the writing of these games in the past. There's always been a number of options for how you want to respond. So there's something there for the anti-hero, there's something there for the Captain America Boy Scout, there's always something sort of roguish, and then there's a request for more information. And in fact, that's how it kind of broke out in this system. And so this process was really about saying, okay, just like in Fallout 3, we know where this character comes from, and we know what's important to her when she leaves the vault. So based on that, what would motivate a person to respond in a heroic way, in a terse, cowboy Clint Eastwoody anti-heroic way, in a roguish Han Solo-y way. Like what is going on psychologically that motivates that? How do we justify this text? And we just had a lot of conversations about that stuff, right? I mean, and with the folks, the designers on the phone as well. should shout out to those guys: Emil Pagliarulo, Will Shen. Help me. There's a million names.
Ferret.
Ferret Bowden, Brian Chapin.
Chappie. Sorry, always Chappie.
Also known as Chappie.
Liam.
Liam, Corey. Oh God, somebody's going to get left out here, and I'm going to feel awful.
Sorry. There's no music to play you off.
I know.
There's just Alan. There's a bunch of very, very skilled designers and writers there who thought a lot about this universe, and of course there's Todd Howard kind of steering the whole ship, and he has a very, very clear idea of how rich an experience playing a Fallout game should be.
Nice.
And everything kind of flows from that, like, you know, the fish rots from the head, right? So in this case it's sort of the opposite of that. We have a strong head on this fish, and as a result the rest of it is sushi quality.
But nicely too, they did also pay attention to the tail,
right?
You know, that we were sort of towards the end product. Obviously, they had put a lot of work into that stuff before we ever got behind the mic. But then when we were doing our work, they were on the line, and although they weren't. It's been interesting in some of the interviews I've done. People have sort of mistaken it that I was saying that they didn't give us any information. That wasn't the case. They were present, and sort of you could feel their presence, but they weren't invasive. And there was definitely a collaboration there, and it was nice because it really felt collaborative. If something didn't work, maybe certain lines that I said, well, I can only speak for my experience, but certain lines that Brian had said in the morning session, when I said them, there was one line about a walk of shame that just sounded really like...
Oh, well, yeah. There were things that were, you know, that we switched up based on whether Brian or Courtney was delivering the line, right? Because it's perfectly... It means one thing for the female player character to go to some NPC who's been a jerk and be like, "Ah, what a bitch," right? But it's a way harder hit, way more pejorative coming out of the mouth of the male player character.
Right.
So we make adjustments around that in how they relate to their child and how they relate to other NPCs. Not large adjustments, but just again, sort of seeking what the kind of the natural tone would be for the character.
And if the nuance was off, you know, Bethesda was really open to being like, yeah, got it. Let's you know, and there would be another line that would come out, or an adjustment would be made at the next session. So it did really feel like they were always listening in a really good way.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was so collaborative. I mean, you know, there are not a lot of video games that are recorded in this way. We had a luxury of being able to come in years ahead of time. You know, Courtney and Brian were working for 2+ years on this. Right. I've been involved for almost 4.
Wow.
And so as we got to really have a lot of creative give and take, more than, you know, than even we asked for. They were really good about sharing the process. The characters kind of honed in closer and closer as we went, and the process was iterative. We'd lay down some recordings, they put them in the game. As they rewrote the quests or rewrote the game, we'd come back and do different iterations, and they put them in. So it was the most positive creative environment I've enjoyed working on a video game in this way before. It was really, really cool, and they were very, very generous with us.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it was like an original play, kind of, you know, with a, you know, where you get the time. And as, you know, having done some on-camera acting and stuff, there's a, you know, it's analogous to sometimes coming into games and being like, okay, this is what it is. We liked your take on this, so we're putting your voice onto this character, which is great. And then there's also the idea of it being more of a play where you are, you know, they're sort of writing in, or a television show where the writers are right there and they're crafting something that's really original, and you get to, you know, color it a little bit too.
There are
so
definitely
it's great.
There are certain elements that came alive once Brian and Courtney were voicing them, right? And I hope at least that was as rewarding for the Bethesda folks as it was for us. But it really felt like something that gelled once all the ingredients were in. And so often in games, you know, you're doing everything like 2 months before the release, and you just got to hammer it out.
Right.
And it was just really nice to be able to take the time to perfect it. You know,
that makes me want to play the game even more
Yeah.
because that's
And sometimes the hammering
amazing,
thing
yeah.
is fun. Like sometimes you get in there and it is that thing of like, oh, there's limited time, and you're just cooking and you hit that stride.
Yeah.
So that's fun too. But this was definitely, for me at least, a new experience for sure.
And I think it's the way that the industry is tending. You know,
Yeah.
because I think the results are, you know, the benefits are evident.
Right.
In the final product.
Okay guys, that's the end of this particular part of the interview. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to come back tomorrow for more. I will be posting these videos every day this week, so I don't want you to miss out. Please remember to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you.